Right, hi everyone, and thank you for coming back once again to join me in Warren's Team Talk channel. And let me get this sorted out. Hold on 2 seconds, people. There we go. My mouse was just playing up a little bit there. I'm sorry about the delay coming back. I had some troubles with YouTube. I don't know what the hell they're playing at YouTube, but not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Let's just put it like that and leave it like that. Anyway, so I'm back now. I'm doing episode 9 of the Groundhopper Diaries, and in this episode, given that we're in the midst of another bloody boring international break, I thought I'd do one about me going to watch football or going to grounds internationally. So I thought that'd be interesting for you. And James is coming with the chat saying, hello again, Warren. Yeah, hello, mate. How are you? Sorry about the delay in getting back, but I'm here now, so that's what matters, I guess. Yeah, so I just had a bit of trouble with YouTube because I was trying to put Chig's GoFundMe page into the descriptions of the last video and also for this one, and for some reason it wouldn't let me do it. I've done it now, thankfully, but it was a bit of a nightmare. So anyway, let's get on with it. So episode 9 of the Groundhopper Diaries, and in this episode I'm going to talk to you about Borussia Dortmund's Westfalenstadion. I'm going to talk to you about the Maksimir Stadium in Croatia, in Zagreb. And I'm going to talk to you about East End Park in Dunfermline, Malmö's Stadium, and the Brandywell in Derry, and Hampden Park as well. So should be quite an interesting one, I think. There's a few interesting stories there, so let's get on with it. So let's start off by looking at Borussia Dortmund's Westfalenstadion. Now, I went there many, many years ago. I was on holiday, I believe, in Germany. I was visiting my friend's family, and whilst I was there, his dad decided to take us to see a Bundesliga game between Borussia Dortmund and Stuttgart, and this was about 1981, I guess. I think I was about 14 or something at the time, and the place was absolutely rocking. And Stuttgart brought about 20,000 odd fans with them. It was mad. And I think the attendance was over 70 odd thousand people for this game. And I think I'm right in saying that it was playing. I'm trying to think if I can remember if there's any big name players playing in it, but I think the game ended in a 1-1 draw. I remember it was a really, really good game. Dortmund took the lead, and my mate's brother was a massive Stuttgart fan. And towards the end of the first half, Stuttgart was starting to get on top, and looked like they were about to score. And they were pushing and pushing and pushing. And he really wanted to go to the loo, this kid. But he didn't want to go while this was going on, because he was worried that if he went to the loo, that Stuttgart would score while he was away and he'd miss the goal. Bless him. And he kept saying, "Oh, if Stuttgart score, I'm going to piss myself," and all this carry on. So, yeah, it was a great night's entertainment, that's for sure. But the maddest thing about it was we were sitting there, and there were some German lads, they were about 17 or 18, sat behind us. And they'd obviously twigged that I was British, right? And so they had these pegs. What the hell they were doing at a football match with bloody pegs in there on them. I have no idea. Like pegs that you put the washing out with on a washing line. And they were like clipping it into my hair. They kept clipping them. And I think I walked out of there with about 15 bloody pegs. It was just bonkers, absolute madness. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience. It really was. James is saying 2 Everton fans stood in the yellow wall at Dortmund a couple of years ago, but they played the song "You Never Walk Alone." They weren't too impressed. They enjoyed the experience, though. Yeah, no, I can imagine, mate. I can imagine that didn't go down well with them. Yeah, but it was bonkers, mate. And their supporters are mad. They really are. And I remember my dad's mate telling me that the Dortmund fans, when they go to the games, they like brush their teeth yellow and black, because it's obviously Dortmund's colours. So yeah, it's mad. So the next one on the agenda for today is Dinamo Zagreb's Maksimir Stadium. Now, this stadium, I never actually got to see a game there, but I went up to the ground and had a look at the ground and all this sort of stuff. And I was there, and I was visiting a girl there who I knew in England, and she invited me over to see her and stay with her family. And obviously I went to visit her, and it was bonkers. It was absolutely bonkers. And she lived really near the ground. It was like only a short distance from the ground. She lived in this huge tower block, and the ground itself is in this amazing park, Maksimir Park, and it's absolutely beautiful park. There's a zoo there, and the grounds, it's just an amazing park. There's a huge lake. It's beautiful, beautiful park. I absolutely love the place. And this ground, there was a famous match that took place there, which sparked the Croatian Serbia War of Independence. And this game between Dinamo Zagreb and Red Star Belgrade, there was a massive riot, and that riot was the catalyst that started the war between Croatia and Serbia, which is why I've got the 2 flags on there. And I remember she told me loads of stories about what went on that day, and it just sounded bonkers. I remember she told, and I know this is to be true because I've seen the footage of it. They were playing this game, and this girl, she told me that Zvonimir Boban, like, who's a national hero in Croatia, there was a massive riot. Well, basically what started it, let me go back, let me start again. Like, in the lead up to this game between Dinamo Zagreb and Red Star Belgrade, because at that time there was no separate leagues for Croatia and Serbia. They all played under the Yugoslav League. And there was a match between the 2 of them at the Maksimir Stadium, and the tension had been running riot. It had been running really high all week, and about what was going to happen and what wasn't going to happen. And in the game, it kicked off. Like, the Red Star fans' hooligan element was in there, and it was led by this famous guy who led the massacre of the Bosnian Serbs, a fella called Arkan, and he was like the leader of the Red Star hooligan element. And it kicked off, and the Dinamo fans kicked off as well, and there was a massive riot between the two sets of supporters, and the Yugoslav police, which was predominantly Serbian, they started wading into the Croatia and the Dinamo Zagreb Croatian supporters. And Boban saw this. He'd stayed on the pitch. The Red Star players went back into the dressing room, to the safety of the dressing room. And Boban and a couple of other players stayed on the pitch. And he saw what was going on, and he thought, no, I'm not having this. And he drop kicked a Red Star police officer. Not Red Star police officer, a Yugoslav police officer. And that sparked another frenzy, and he became public enemy number one in Belgrade, and there was a massive manhunt for him because he got ushered out of the ground. You remember the scenes in Escape to Victory where they put clothes, jackets all over the players, and they ushered them out of the stadium? Something similar apparently happened here, and he got ushered out of the ground, and he had to stay in a different house every night for a long period of time. And so there was a massive manhunt for him, and he is now a national hero. And it's just an absolutely mad story, and it just sends tingles. It just sent tingles down my spine when I went to this ground and I knew what had happened there. It was just absolutely potty. James has come in with the chat saying, I still remember Terry going mental when Zagreb knocked Tottenham out and Claude was laughing his head off. Yes, it was. It was that I remember that as well. It was absolutely hilarious. But this place, man, some of the stories that this girl told me about the war and about what happened at this game, and that she wasn't there, thankfully, but she knows people that went there, and she told me about it all, and it was horrific, absolutely horrific. So and I'm glad I wasn't at that game, I have to say, because it sounded horrific. I'm gonna put a link in the description of the video about this infamous riot, and because, like I say, it sparked off the war of independence between Croatia and the rest of Yugoslavia, and it led to that war. Obviously, led to the breakup of the former Yugoslavia. So it was mad, absolutely mad. So next one, let's see who's up next. So what a story that was. Next game, next one is Dunfermline. Oh, hold on. Next one is Dunfermline Athletics, East End Park. Now, I went to this game because my father's from Dunfermline, and my family and I went up to Dunfermline and had a look around and stuff, because a couple of years before this, he sadly died. And my mum just took us up there to have a look around and see the place. And we met one of his old pals and stuff like that. And while we were there, I decided to take myself off to see Dunfermline play a game. And at the time, they were having a really bad time of it, and they were in the second division, which was the bottom tier of Scottish football at the time, I believe. And they played Berwick Rangers, which coincidentally is the only English side playing in Scottish football, in the Scottish professional football. And Dunfermline won the game by 4-2. It was quite an emotional day for me for obvious reasons. But I remember I met a really nice girl from Berwick while I was there, and I had a nice chat with her, and it was quite interesting, really. Just being there and like thinking about all the stories that he told me and all the rest of it. One story in particular that's quite funny was that he went to this game, I think it was against Partick Thistle, with his mates, and they were having bets amongst themselves about what the score was going to be, and they decided that my dad would buy a pie for every time the opposition would score against Dunfermline for his mate, and then his mate would buy buy him a pie every time that the opposition scored, that the Dunfermline scored for him. Now, turned out Dunfermline won this game by 10 goals to 1. So after the third one, my dad said, "No, look, that's enough. I can't take any more. I don't want any more." But yeah, that was quite funny, that story. So yeah, there you go. So that was my experience of East End Park. And that's what it used to look like before the seating went in. You could see all the terracing and all the rest of it. So, and then I've been there a few other times as well. I went with one of my dad's mates, seeing Dunfermline play another game. But yeah, I've been there a few times, I think, down the years. But that one sticks out in my memory more than any others. So that's why I spoke to you about that one. Now, another occasion, I went to this one. And the reason I'm telling you about this ground is because it's a really interesting place. It's in the north of Ireland, and it's Derry City's Brandywell Stadion. Now, Derry City, because they're a Republican team. They come from a Republican part of the north of Ireland, hence why they're called Derry City and not Londonderry City. They're called Derry. And because of all, they had been playing in the Northern Ireland leagues, but because of all the trouble, apparently every single week that they played, there was trouble. They then applied to join the League of Ireland, and they were given special dispensation by FIFA and the two leagues so that they could join. And after they joined, there was never any trouble. Everything was fine. Yeah, so it's interesting, really interesting. And I remember me and my mate, when I was visiting him, he took me down there to see the place because he knew I was a big football fan. And yeah, it was very, very interesting place to go and visit, to be quite honest, just because of the unique nature of this and the circumstances of why they ended up playing in the League of Ireland and all the history and so on and so forth about the club. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. So the next ground. The next ground is Malmö's Stadion. This was a pretty cool place as well. I went to Malmö because I was studying the Swedish Careers Service while I was training to be a careers advisor, and we based ourselves at Malmö University. And while I was there, we got, me and these two other people that I went with, we got all placed in different families, different other students who were studying at Malmö University, who were studying to be careers advisors in Sweden. And while I was there, the family I stayed with, the chap the woman's husband, whose family I was staying with, he took me to see Malmö play because he knew that I really loved football. And I think it was about April, but the season had only just started. Because of the winter and everything, they start their season, I think, in March or something, and it runs till September or October or something mad like that. And well, it's mad for us because we're used for our seasons running from August to May, aren't we? So yeah, that's how it works there. And I also remember thinking, what the hell's going on here? Because when we got inside the ground, there was no segregation. There was away supporters mixing with home supporters. There wasn't any scent of any trouble or anything, but it was still quite, the atmosphere was like really lively and it was quite intense, but there wasn't any trouble. But yeah, like I say, there was no segregation, and yeah, it was really weird. But I remember when I was staying there, I walked around Malmö, particularly the area near the ground, because that was near where I was staying. And there was loads of like football matches and like organised matches, and the technical ability of some of the kids I saw playing football was just, it was mad. They was all really organised. They played football really high, looked like a really high technical level, and yeah, it was mad. It was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed it. James has come in with another chat saying, I've never been to a game abroad, but I've visited a few well-known grounds in Europe. Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out about those, James. It really would. Well-known, I mean. Now that I'm sure you really enjoyed it, though. I'm sure it was great, wasn't it? And just even going to see the grounds when there's not the games going on, for me, I find it quite interesting and enjoyable. But yeah, I went to this game here at Malmö and it was bonkers. It was completely different to what it's like in England. It really is. Then the next ground I want to talk about is Hampden Park in Glasgow. Now, I went there for the 1989 Scottish Cup final between Celtic and Rangers, and what a day that was, because Rangers were on course to win the domestic treble, and if they'd won the cup final that day, they would have done it. But Celtic beat them by 1-0, and to be honest, they should have won by more, in my opinion. Joe Miller scored the goal, and the Rangers supporters were really upset because they believed that the goal came from a throw-in, and they believed that the throw-in should have been for them because they claimed it was clear throw-in for them. But Celtic took the throw-in quickly. Joe Miller received the ball from a throw-in, and he raced through to score, and the place went ballistic. And as always at the Scottish Cup final, the Rangers supporters had the part of the ground that was covered, a covered enclosure, and the Celtic fans were in the end that was uncovered. And I remember we was on this terrace at Hampden Park, me and my dad's mate, and a good mate of mine now as well. And we were stood in front of these two fellas, and they were off their heads. I don't know what they were doing, but one of them was smoking. I'm sure he was smoking a joint as well, and it sort of burnt a little hole in my Celtic shirt. So, yeah, it was mad, absolutely mad. And the other mad thing about this game as well was that me and this mate of mine, we went to the game. He was a Celtic fan as well. We went to the game with these two Rangers supporters, So then we had Celtic scarves out of one side of the car and Rangers scarves having out the other side of the car. And I travelled up to Scotland in this guy's car, this Rangers fan's car, who he lived in the same town as my mate. And yeah, what a mad day that was. And people were looking at us as like we were mad because like there was this car and it had Celtic fans and Rangers fans in the same car with scarves out the window. It was bonkers. And James Dunlop says, I can imagine Hampden Park was unreal back with the atmosphere. On Saturday, it was rocking though when Scotland won, and thank God they did win. Yeah, mate. That was a great win, a really important win, and an important win last night as well. So they just got to make sure they finish the job off now when they go to Moldova next month to make sure they get a playoff spot for the World Cup finals. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, that game at Hampden Park was just insane, and I loved every minute of it. So, and then here we got some pictures from the day. The Celtic players celebrating the cup victory. It's my favourite Celtic player of all time. Peter Grant with Pat Bonner, Mark McGee, and I believe that's Tommy Burns. And then one of Celtic's greatest ever players, Paul McStay, the lad with the number 8 on his shorts. And then you could see the Celtic players celebrating again with their win. And then the Celtic supporters with their scarves aloft and everything, singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." So yeah, it was an incredible day. It really was an amazing day. One that I think I'll never ever forget. So yeah, so that was the. Oh, sorry. Hold on, 2 secs. So that was the Groundhopper Diaries for that session. And so thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it. Please, before you go, please make sure that you hit that thumbs up like button on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And also you make sure you share the video with as many people as you possibly can. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And the little bell icon as well, you might be able to see that there. The little bell icon, just make sure that you get notified every time that I upload a video by YouTube. But the only way that will work, of course, is if you make sure that you set up notifications on your device so that YouTube can get it through to you. So I hope that helps. And like I say, if you do that for me, it will really help me to grow the channel. So thanks ever so much. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a really great day. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care for now. Bye. So yeah, so thanks everyone for coming in and watching the video with me, and I hope you enjoyed that one. Yeah, thanks James saying cheers Warren, take care mate. Same to you buddy, I hope that you're okay, and I hope we get another stream soon for Terry or Diesel. I have to say I'm missing them, to be quite honest. But yeah, take care of yourself, and take care everyone who's watching this on playback as well. Thanks very much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great day, and thanks very much for all your support. And please remember to take care, look after yourselves, and spread some love, joy and happiness around the world at the moment. So take care everyone, and I'll look forward to seeing you all soon.